Tonight on 7 News, the Lewis County Fair wraps up this weekend with the Demolition Derby and one traveler who came all the way to Rhode Island for a taste of taffy. Plus, raising money for rides. More than 100 marksmen make their way to the Carthage Rod and Gun Club, all for a good cause. And popping up in Public Square, North Country artists display their work in a first of a summer series of showings.
You're watching the North Country's news station. 7 News this evening starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. Brendan Straub is off this weekend. I'm Zach Grady. Nearly 120 million Americans are under heat alerts as weeks of record-breaking temperatures stretch on. CBS's Bradley Blackburn has more on the extreme temperatures and weather that are affecting much of the country.
In California, temperatures are blistering across the state.
Kept increasing. We showed up to Sacramento, it was 111.
Emergency crews in Palm Springs say the pavement
right now is at 165.
Is sending some to the burn unit.
A bicycle get hit by a car and the individual falls on the street. We're dealing with an injury that was caused and then also now possibly burns.
In Arizona, Phoenix topped 110 degrees for the 22nd straight day. Teams trying to help the homeless who were camping out in the elements.
Hi, we got some water and hygiene.
Nationwide, temperatures are making outdoor work grueling. In South Florida, a 29-year-old farm worker died after collapsing in the heat. Advocates are pushing for changes in the law.
We need water, we need shade, we need breaks.
And in Marysville, California, firefighters battled flames with no escape from extreme temperatures.
Triple digits is crazy.
Wild weather continues too. In Oklahoma, winds pushing a freight train off the tracks. Severe storms in Ohio snapped trees and damaged homes, while in Pennsylvania, water was the threat. The body of 2-year-old Maddie Shields pulled from the Delaware River miles away from where her family was swept away in a flood last week.
Although Maddie was found 32 miles away from where she was lost, she has never been closer to all of our hearts as she is now.
The remains of her mother were found previously, and her 9-month-old sibling is still missing. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
We'll head over to the Weather Center now. We'll take our first look at the weather here in the North Country. Kris, what can we look at here?
Well, really, there's not a whole lot going on. It's been a nice, quiet day for us. Been breezy, though, and tomorrow's going to be a nice, quiet day as well. So a great weekend for us as far as that northeast satellite and radar. You can see really not a whole lot going on. That area of low pressure, they gave us some rain yesterday, is moving on off towards our east and northeast. First weather is brought to you by Doors Plus in Adams Center. Here closer to home, you can see keeping it dry. Maybe a few clouds out there for some locations, but we'll be clearing those out as we go overnight tonight. And our lows, warmer tonight than last night, staying in the upper 50s to lower 60s. So nice night for us. Like I said, it's going to be a nice day for us on Sunday. But you know the heat that you just heard about in that national package? Well, we'll be dealing with it later this week. So details on that coming up in just a few.
Thank you, Kris. It was the last day at the Lewis County Fair, but there was certainly not a lack of entertainment. 7 News reporter Chad Charette checked out the Demolition Derby and even met with a traveler who has a taffy fixation.
A week's worth of festivities came to a close Saturday as the sun shined down on the Lewis County Fair.
It was wonderful. We had perfect weather. We had a little bit of rain yesterday, but it was midday, 15 minutes.
The fair provided 4 days of fun, free admission, and food. For the first time since 2019, COVID was not a concern for organizers. According to fair management, this year's event gathered larger crowds than the last two, but exact numbers still have to be totaled.
I just think everybody just loves the fair, so maybe they're more comfortable coming out this year.
Fairgoers were not just from the North Country. Carol Morrow and her husband traveled all the way from Rhode Island. Morrow grew up in Lewis County, but this was her first trip to the fair in nearly 50 years.
We looked it up and it was this weekend. It was perfect. We were like, well, let's go.
How does it compare to half a century ago?
Honestly, all I remember is the taffy. The taffy and the rides, because I was a kid.
And that taffy she was referring to has quite a bit of history behind it. The Freeman family has been making taffy for over a century, and this is their 128th year at the Lewis County Fair.
It's crazy. People come from all over, and family members will ship. So they'll come up, order hundreds of dollars worth of taffy, and they'll ship it all across the country for their family.
Along with taffy, there was plenty of torque on Saturday, as the Demolition Derby highlighted the weekend. Drivers spent their Saturday seeing who could be the last car standing. Trevor Lawton says, hobby of his since he was 14 years old.
Yep, the first car I ever ran, we had to put like a booster seat in it so I could reach the pedals. First car I ever ran.
Fair officials say Saturday's Demolition Derby marks the fair's unofficial finish, with rides running until the end of the evening. Chad Charette, 7 News.
Continuing a long tradition, the Carthage Rod and Gun Club held its annual Shooting Traps for Trips event. The marksmanship competition aims to raise money for the Volunteer Transportation Center, which gives folks free rides to medical procedures and appointments. Last year's event managed to raise roughly $5,000, and that number, according to organizers, is set to increase. Jeremiah Papineau with the Volunteer Transportation Center says the number of contestants this year has steadily increased, and this year likely exceeded 100 shooters.
Well, this is a great event. Our friends here at the Carthage Rod and Gun Club every year help host this, and it's just an amazing event that raises a lot of money, and we get a lot of great people from the community coming out to have a good time outdoors.
And they get people that don't necessarily shoot trap all the time, so it doesn't matter whether you're a AA shooter or a brand new shooter, you can come here and shoot.
Shooters came out from as far as St. Lawrence County, with even some school clubs taking part in the event. Popping up in Public Square, North Country artists showcased their work in a summer series hosted by the Fibonacci Art Gallery. Saturday's featured artist, Ray Oakes, started carving wooden bowls last November to prepare for a second career after retirement. Oakes uses several different types of wood to create his artwork. He says each one of his pieces is unique and that he doesn't know what the final product is going to be until he gets the wood itself on the lathe.
You know, this is actually art. You know, it's just a nice piece that you can have to exhibit, and it's something unique. It's not something you're going to find was mass-produced and everybody has it. That's you know, the part of the community I like about it.
Fibonacci Art Gallery is hosting a second pop-up show August 4th. The show will highlight the works of Greg Lago, a North Country artist who has recently passed away. Still to come tonight on 7 News, Kris Hudson is back in the Weather Center with your full forecast. And Rob Krone is on the field and in the ring for your North Country Sports Report when 7 News continues.
From the North Country's news station, you're watching 7 News this evening with Brendan Straub. Weekend weather with Kris Hudson. And your North Country sports with Rob Krone.
As the deadline to reach a new contract nears, a potential UPS strike feels as if it's closer than ever. Teamsters are calling for better pay, particularly for part-time workers and safety improvements. Before contract talks were stalled earlier this month, both sides had reached tentative agreements on several issues, those including installing air conditioning in more trucks and getting rid of a 2-tier wage system for drivers who work weekends. The Teamsters said Wednesday that they will resume contract negotiations with UPS next week, marking an end to a stalemate that began 2 weeks ago when both sides walked away from the table, blaming each other. Members of Teamsters Local 687 held a practice strike Thursday in front of the UPS facilities in Watertown. And Admiral Lisa Franchetti is President Joe Biden's pick to head the U.S. Navy. Franchetti is currently serving as the Vice Chief of Naval Operations. She was commissioned in 1985 and has served as the commander of the U.S. Naval Forces in Korea and Deputy Chief of Naval Operations for War Fighting Development. If confirmed, she would be the first woman in the history of the Navy to hold the job and the first woman in the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Kris Hudson is back after the break with your full forecast.
Now, tonight's weather.
Well, it was a nice day for us today. It was breezy as well, but you know what? That wind and the low humidity really did make it feel like a nice day. Temperatures weren't that bad either. Outside here in downtown Watertown, still very, very nice out there. It's going to be a wonderful evening to get outside and enjoy this beautiful weather that we're experiencing. 77 degrees, that current temperature. Winds coming out of the west-southwest at 9 miles per hour. So like I said, a little breezy at times. Winds, however, will be dying off as we go overnight tonight, so it will be a nice night for us. 79 was the high today. That's really close to our normal for this time of the year. 54 this morning. So, yeah, it was a chilly night last night. I left the windows open. I woke up early this morning and was actually kind of cold. Funny saying that, especially knowing our winters. As far as out there right now, though, 76 degrees for Wanakina, 77 for Canton, 78 for you in Messina, 74 Loudville, and 78 degrees for Fort Drum. So temperatures are really perfect out there. They're about where they should be, a little bit below average for some locations though. And tonight, our low is going to be right around where they should be as well. We're going to be dropping down into the upper 50s to lower 60s. Winds will be calming down. We're not expecting any rain, and it's going to be a nice, clear night. So it's going to be a clear night tonight. What about tomorrow? Well, great day to do some boating. 79 for Lake Ontario, 82 for the St. Lawrence River. Maybe a few clouds and a very, very small chance for a passing shower or two, primarily in St. Lawrence County tomorrow. So timing this out for you, kind of looking to see what this looks like by tomorrow morning. Really not that bad. We're keeping it mainly clear, just a few clouds for some locations possible, but still mostly sunny as we go throughout our Sunday by noon. Still keeping it dry and mostly sunny. A few clouds out there, like I said, though. We get that lake breeze kicking in the afternoon. That's when we have the chance for a few showers towards the afternoon around 2 o'clock, primarily in St. Lawrence County, away from Lake Ontario, northern Lewis County potentially as well. But I do think most of us will be staying dry as we go throughout Sunday. Just you in St. Lawrence County that we're really going to be watching. And that humidity, it's been really not that bad the past couple of days. It's been low, very comfortable in nature. But look what happens as we get towards the middle of the week. It starts to skyrocket. It's going to be very humid by the time we get towards Wednesday and Thursday. With the humidity, you might be wondering, does the heat return as well? And the answer is absolutely it does. They do kind of relate to one another. Look at Thursday, 90 degrees. Yeah, the heat is back on for us. At least it's a short-lived one. Only one day of 90 degrees though. And then breezy on Monday. A few chances for showers and thunderstorms on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Thursday and Friday. But all in all, it looks like it's going to be a nice week. Still getting humid though by the time we get towards the middle of the week. And of course, getting hot as well for Thursday.
Hot, humid, heat. I like these words. I'm not going to complain about any of these, especially as we're getting here at the end of the summertime.
Yeah, especially knowing the winters that we have up here too.
I don't want to see them again. We'll be right back after this. Lionel Messi's debut for Inter Miami Soccer Club Friday night in Fort Lauderdale was unforgettable. Messi scored his first MLS goal on a free kick in the 94th minute to win the game. Fans from around the world descended on South Florida to see the game's greatest player in action. Christian Benavides from CBS was there as well and has all the excitement.
Messi! The sold-out crowd went wild as Lionel Messi scored the game-winning goal in extra time in his eagerly awaited debut with Major League Soccer's Inter Miami team.
Earlier, outside Inter Miami's newly expanded stadium, fans turned the festive atmosphere into a tailgate party with food and music.
But it was Messi who was on their mind.
It's here, it's real, and we gotta enjoy it.
This family traveled from Argentina to see the soccer star shine.
I'm excited to be here because I love Messi.
Ticket IQ says the average Inter Miami ticket price has skyrocketed from about $150 a pop to $850 because of Messi. One might have to go back as far as Pele's 1970s American debut with the New York Cosmos to match the kind of excitement Messi has brought to the game.
Messi now is a world champion, coming from a crazy country like Argentina with a lot of passion for soccer. So it's going to be absolutely fantastic for the league, for Inter Miami, for Major League Soccer, and for soccer in the U.S.
Where we are now, and you project that forward with everything we have, Messi, our U.S. women, and the World Cup coming.
Messi, who won the World Cup with Argentina in December, has a 2.5-year contract with Inter Miami. The team, which lured Messi over major efforts by Saudi Arabia, reportedly will pay him between $50 million and $60 million a year. That's more than $1 million a match.
Messi's deal comes with an option to become part owner of the club and a cut of the revenue from new subscribers to the Apple TV MLS streaming service. Christian Benavides, CBS News, Fort Lauderdale.
We got Messi in Miami. We got Morgan in the World Cup for the U.S. What do we got in the North Country?
We've got a lot of stuff, and we'll talk all of sports coming up next. Don't go away.
Now your North Country sports.
It's time for your Toyota Sports Report. After a month away, the Watertown Red and Black are back home at George Ashcraft Field tonight, hosting Troy in a Gridiron Developmental Football League contest. The Red and Black back in action after enjoying an off week. Watertown looking to win their second straight game after beating Charlotte 20-0 to move to 4-2 in the league and 5-2 overall. After playing only 2 games in the last month, Red and Black coach George Ashcraft hopes the team is back at full strength for the final 2 games of the season as Watertown looks to make a postseason push.
I don't think it was so bad to the fact that the players that have been playing have been banged up a little bit. Let's give them a good rest. We practiced last Thursday night. We had 25, 30 guys here. So if we can get everybody back on board this week, suit up over 40 people Saturday night, I think we could be okay.
The Watertown Rapids on the road tonight, traveling to Little Falls to meet Mohawk Valley. The Rapids coming off a 6-4 win at home over Boonville last night. With the win, Watertown improved to 13-25 on the year. And with 1 week left in the season and the team eliminated from playoff contention, Rapids manager Mike Kogut says his players are getting ready for their fall and spring college seasons.
Yeah, obviously the goal is, to put up wins and to compete every night. But the ultimate goal is for these guys to develop their skills, work on things, so they return to their campuses in the fall. They're better ball players than when they arrived in Watertown. And our guys are getting their reps in and doing that, and we've seen growth.
Today, the halfway point of the 20th edition of the Thousand Islands Challenge softball tournament. 83 teams are taking part in the 3-day-long event, which has teams from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Canada taking part. Teams from U10 to U18 in action, and tournament director Christopher Tahanika says the level of competition is outstanding.
We got kids ranging from 10 and under to 18 and under all over Jefferson County, and the competition is going to be very well. We have college coaches up here looking at people, and the main thing is giving every kid an opportunity. Every kid deserves an opportunity to play the greatest game on dirt. I'm repeating myself, but it is the greatest game on dirt.
One of the best heavyweight boxers in the 70s and 80s making an appearance just outside the city today. Jerry Cooney was in town for the Clubs and Gloves golf tournament to benefit the Watertown Boxing Club at Willowbrook Golf Club. Cooney, whose left hook was considered by many as one of the most powerful punches in boxing history, says being able to help out the Watertown Boxing Club is something he jumped at the chance to do.
And they're bringing attention to kids and to trouble and to youth and to raise money and to teach these kids how to box, to protect themselves. And once you learn how to protect yourself, you don't have to fight no more. So, I'm really glad to come up here and get with all the guys, see him hack the ball around today and go get the chance to work with the kids tomorrow. That's a gift.
He's a true champ. And I look forward to having this day with him. And he really is interested with seeing my boxers. So tomorrow we're gonna have a thing at the Elks Club, 9:30 to noon, like a little breakfast with him and stuff. So if anybody wants to come down and see him, come on down. There'll be a fee.
The Thousand Island Spirits wrapped up their 2023 regular season last night in Utica with a 22-13 win over the Yeti to finish 7-2, winners of 7 straight. The Spirits now get ready for the postseason next weekend and enter the NABLL Upstate Division Championship game ranked 2nd in the country. Spirits owner and general manager Nate Jobson says that's impressive, but adds there's still business to tend to.
It's pretty special. Power rankings are cool and all. They, they're good for confidence and everything like that. But if we don't win our division in the championship game next Sunday, then it doesn't matter what we're ranked in the country. You know what I mean?
And that does in sports.
We'll be right back after this break. Kris, I hear it might be a little bit hotter than expected for tomorrow.
Yeah, I forgot to update the high on the 7-day for Sunday. It's actually going to be 82 tomorrow, not 76. Put that one under my mistake. I am a human. But yes, 82 tomorrow, nice and sunny, maybe a few showers for St. Lawrence County.
82 instead of 76, not a mistake in my book. I appreciate it. For Rob and Kris, we're back at 11. Thank you very much for joining us.